Thanks, Steve. All right, before we get started, there's a lot of seats up here, folks in the back that want to take time to get up and get sat down. Also, I want everyone to take their phones out. Everybody take all your phones out right now. Make sure it's on silent #1, and then put in this date on your schedule, October 6th and 7th of next year, where the summit's coming back to my village. It's going to be a journey at Pachanga, so put that in your phone as well. Make sure it's on silent. It always happens. Also, if you want to take a picture of me at the podium here, and then please post on your thing and tag me, Randy Chang PGA, because I need a lot more followers. Speaking of followers, our first presenters that we're going to bring up here. Andy Proudman and Piers from Me and My Golf is a golf media company that provides content on golf coaching, fitness, biomechanics, travel, and education. The company's founders have over 40 years of combined coaching experience and have helped millions of golfers improve their game. They've worked with some of the best golfers in the world, including Rory McIlroy, Sir Nick Faldo, John Rahm, Dustin Johnson, Scotty Scheffler, and I've seen Aaron Rai. He has a logo on his hat. I'd like to introduce them to the stage, along with joining them, our section vice president, soon to be president, Dr. Alison Curdt. Please come up to the stage, gentlemen and lady.
Managed to get up here and not fall off. It's good. It's a good start.
It's a good start, Andy. Good start.
Good morning, everybody. Well, that's a great introduction by Randy. Thanks so much. I've got a few more bios to say about Andy and Piers. They're the co-founders of Me and My Golf, an online coaching brand that started as a YouTube channel in 2011. I'm pretty sure that everybody in this room has at least seen your presence or seen you somewhere on the internet, social media at this point. Their commitment to helping golfers has led them to build a social media following of over 2 million followers, create over 250 million YouTube views, interview some of the world's best players, created their own series on the Golf Channel, and regularly are featured in published magazines. And as mentioned, they are long-term coaches of recent PGA Tour winner Aaron Rai. Their mission is clear: to make golf simple so they can change the lives through golf. So how did this all start, and how did Me and My Golf become created?
Crazy start. So 2012, we decided to quit our successful academy, travel the world for 3 months, get back with no job, no money. You can imagine what our parents thought of that, our family, our friends. Everyone in the industry thought we were crazy, but that was kind of the start of Me and My Golf. And to think what's happened over the last 10 years, or 12 years, I suppose, has been unbelievable. But as far as the real beginning, it was 30 years ago that me and him actually met playing junior golf together. And it was a great golf club, very competitive, lots of good players. But I think one thing that we realized really soon was that we actually wanted to turn professional, but we didn't want to play. We wanted to coach. And from that point, we actually sort of gravitated towards each other and said, wouldn't it be cool if one day we could have an academy together? And in 2006, we set up the Three Hammers Golf Complex. Proudman and Ward Golf Academy was in a city called Wolverhampton in England, in the middle of the country. And it was the start of this phenomenal journey for us, because we spent 6 years there building up a really successful facility, learning a lot. I mean, events like this, we would go to as many summits or training days that were put on by the PGA as possible. So it really helped us build where we are today, really, that thirst for learning.
It shows actually how long ago it was, because we couldn't find any pictures of me and Piers playing golf when we were young. This was like 30 years ago. The pictures on the left on screen here. I think this was a New Year's Eve, and then the day after the New Year's Eve. So this is a pretty heavy night, if I remember.
We've actually managed to grow facial hair since then as well,
Exactly,
which is
yeah.
interesting. But I think whilst we were at Three Hammers, we realized quite a few things, and it was phenomenal, but I think we felt quite restricted. We were kind of turning up to our driving range, and this driving range Matt kind of staring at it and going kind of, well, we're helping change golfers, but is this it? Is this driving range Matt where we're going to spend the rest of our lives? And then as we were going through this as well, we were seeing lots of golfers with the same issues. And to be honest, we felt that a lot of golfers were coming to us uneducated. And just some simple things that you guys and girls are seeing all the time on the lesson tee. We're like, there's got to be a solution to this. There's got to be a medium that we can use that we can actually help people on a larger scale. So we were also looking at a lot of YouTube stuff from a fitness point of view, and we were intrigued by this YouTube. Every day we'd go into the indoor studio and we'd turn YouTube on, and there'd be some sort of fitness video playing, or even some golf stuff. Like we saw Martin Hall doing some stuff, Lynn Blake, but then we saw Mark Crossfield, a guy who lived down in Exeter. We'd never heard of this guy before. He was making YouTube videos. And then we had a guy called Steve Gould from Gasp Systems come in and fit our indoor studio. And he's like, oh yeah, this Mark Crossfield, he's coaching at my driving range, but he's earning $400 a month doing YouTube videos. He's earning money whilst he's sleeping. So we thought, well, this is pretty cool. So if he had this chance to earn money whilst we sleep, but also have this medium to reach other people around the world, we thought, this is a good idea. So, 2012, we quit. We went traveling for 3 months. We spent 2 months here in the US. We went down to Miami. I remember it was such a random trip because we kind of were on a budget. We were staying in hostels. I remember the one guy who was in the bunk above me, he just got released from prison. That was an interesting conversation. But then we were also staying in these fantastic houses with people that we knew. And then we were sharing tins of tuna because, again, we were on a budget. But then we were playing Rich Harvest Farms, one of the best golf courses in the country, and going, it was just a little bit random. But we spent we spent 2 months, a great 2 months in the US. Dr. Rob Neal, we saw at Doral. He was phenomenal. We went to watch Martin Hall at Ibis for 2 days. He actually took us to Golf Channel Studios. I always remember this picture because I always remember looking at it and going, my head was incredibly shiny. And I'm thinking it's probably the same right now. But that was phenomenal. We thought, well, one day that'd be nice, getting our actual Golf Channel show. That'd be a cool thing to do. And then we flew over to San Diego. And for all of you guys who live here in Southern California, we were here 5 minutes. And we're talking San Diego Airport, by the way. 5 minutes and we decided, that's it, we want to live here. So eventually we got here. And we met a good friend of ours, Tom Fisher, who was working at TaylorMade. And we went to TaylorMade HQ, you can see the picture here. And I remember rocking up to this building going, what is this? This place is phenomenal. And we were like, golf is here. It is definitely not in Wolverhampton in England. So that was unbelievable, very inspiring looking at that. And the one thing as well, the whole idea of this presentation, by the way, Sean Cox came to us and said, look, I just want you to inspire people in the room. Show them what is possible. So hopefully we can do that throughout this presentation. We then moved up. We went up to see Dave Phillips and Greg Rose at TPI. They were very accommodating. And again, you're looking at that facility and going, this place is just phenomenal.
I think one of the things I'll add as well to this is that we made the decision to leave the Three Hammers in Wolverhampton in England. And we said, let's not have any plan B. Let's not have anything to come back to. Let's go and have this experience. Whilst we've got a YouTube channel, we'd sort of set this up in the early days then. And we said, let's go and experience the world, go and travel, learn from some of these great coaches, around the world, and just have an open opportunity to just go, well, what could happen while we're away? But we also wanted to come back and actually have nothing, because we wanted to come back and go, well, whatever we come back to, we're going to go full steam ahead. And that was a really important part for us. We didn't want to go, well, let's get a job and just in case. We said, let's just keep this open and just see what happens. And it was a big part of it, that was.
Had the fear. We had
the fear. We needed the fear.
We needed the fear. So from there, obviously, we then flew out to Australia for 3 weeks. Again, phenomenal. Remember, probably shouldn't say the story exactly like this. We're playing Royal Melbourne. And we'd had 2 hours sleep the night before, and we had a few drinks the night before, and then we turned up, and then we realized we were playing Royal Melbourne, which was a bit crazy. But that was, again, a pinch yourself moment. We went to Hong Kong. and we were doing 10 days in Hong Kong and China. And we actually, I don't know whether Trotty Golf is in the room. Chris Trott might be in the room. I think he's going to be here today. We actually stayed with him. We managed to get out of the horrendous hostel that we were staying in, and we managed to stay with him for a couple of days. Those 2 days turned into 7 days. He just didn't want us to go. But the more we were hearing about China and we were going to Beijing, we were kind of swayed to say, let's just stay in Hong Kong. But anyway, we came back. I remember we got back just as the London Olympics was on in 2012. And as Andy said, we were full tilt now into Me and My Golf, trying to make it a success. We had no money. Literally, we were paying ourselves £50 a week for probably a year, and then I think it was £150 2 years after that. I was living in a one-bed flat. I think you were living with your parents, and we had no money. We spent it all, but we had this desire and this kind of crystal ball that this Me and My Golf has to work, and it will work. And because we had no plan B, we were full tilt into it. And obviously, we owe a lot to our parents for helping us out on this. But then to fast forward it now to understand that we've probably had the best job ever. We say that we have the best job ever. And to travel the world and to film with Rory McIlroy and Dustin Johnson, have all these amazing experiences, even just to be sitting here now is a great privilege to us. So it's just been a wild journey.
Yeah, it's crazy to think the things that we've done, but that was the starting point really, us quitting the academy and just saying, let's just go and experience life and just see what happens really. And as Piers said, we got back in 2012 in July, and it was like, right, this YouTube thing just seems to be like it's gonna take off. We were clear. Everyone else thought we were really stupid. What are these guys doing, messing around, creating videos online? And we got this quote up here because obviously Wayne Gretzky, I skate to where the puck is going, not to where it's been. And we just were clear. We're like, this is where it's going. This is where YouTube is going to be something. So let's just invest time and energy into just putting some content out there that's going to be valuable to people, and let's just see what happens. But we were, for some reason, I don't know why, we were just certain it was going to be a great thing, and we just went into it and just consistently put out some great content, what we thought was helping golfers, and then that sort of got to where we are today. So it's been an incredible journey, really, and we still feel that we're just getting started. It's been 12 years, and we feel like we're just getting started.
It's so neat to see that Me and My Golf started from a friendship through golf, and then to create this amazing company that you're able to meet someone like-minded and have these visions for the future. It's incredible. What opportunities have you been able to create by building a brand online?
There's been a lot of different things that have happened, and as Piers said, that if you'd have said this to the young Andy and Piers 10 years ago, we just wouldn't have believed any of this really. But I think that the difference now is that we have the power in our hands. We've literally got the power in our devices, our phones, to create our own opportunities, whereas before it was the media companies, it was the magazines, it was Golf Channel, Golf Digest, all these things. They had the power to showcase whoever they wanted to showcase, whereas every person in this room now has that opportunity themselves to go, well, I've got a phone, I can start my own media company and just put my message and my brand into the world and create my own business and help people through our devices. So some of the things that we've been able to do, which a lot of you in the room will have obviously done the same. The first thing is obviously just help golfers. We've built the business on just being helpful. That's every conversation that me and Piers have, when it's creating a bit of content, when it's doing a presentation for you guys, it's how can we be helpful? How can we deliver value? So the great thing, the best compliment that we get is if we go to a golf club, traveling around the world, and somebody comes up to us and says, we love what you do. It's so helpful. Thank you so much. That's the best compliment that we can get. Make money while we sleep. That was a decision that we wanted to make. That when we were at the driving range at the Three Hammers, we were coaching, and we got to a point where we sort of achieved all our goals at this academy. And we said, well, is this it? Is this it now till we're like 65 and then we retire? Do we just want to turn up and coach 6 days a week? And we said, well, surely there's something more out there for us. We wanted to create a business, and that was when we sort of went on that journey really. So making money while we sleep, market your product or a service. Obviously social media now is this free platform that we can market our product, whether it's online golf lessons, whether you actually have a training aid, or just filling your diaries, or just increasing your lesson revenue. Increasing our lesson prices. That's obviously been a big thing we've been able to do after building our profile online. And then just some of the amazing experiences that we've had, and we'll sort of show you a few of these as we go through this. And as Piers said, Sean Cox asked us to do this and said, well, can you inspire the audience? And some of the stories, I think, will certainly do that. But we also want to share some of the things that we are currently working on, some of the tactics that we think that be valuable for you guys to take away and maybe give it a go and apply within your social media and business. Piers mentioned that we got really excited about $400 a month from Mark Crossfield. And back then we were like, that was a lot of money to us because we didn't really have any. I wanted to show you this slide because the potential of what is out there from a revenue standpoint, also just from a business standpoint on YouTube. Just out of interest, who's got a YouTube channel in this room? Just put your hands up if you've got a YouTube channel. Okay, a few of you. So we wanted to share this just because a lot of you might not know the opportunity of what's out there. Now, the video on the left, or the image on the left here, we created this video in 2013. It took us half an hour to plan. It took us half an hour to film. And it probably took us about a day to edit. So we had an editor who edited this. Now, we uploaded this. It's called Golf Swing Made Simple. Really easy title. Nice thumbnail. And over the last 11 years, it's brought in $41,000 in revenue. Now, if I was in the audience years ago looking back at that, I'd be like, wow, like $400 got me excited. That's certainly going to get me excited. If I'm coaching on a driving range, Matt, exchanging time for money, this is the opportunity that we've got out there from a revenue standpoint in a business. This also brought us in 33,000 subscribers over the last 11 years, not to mention what it's actually done from a business standpoint, from our membership subscription as well. So I anticipate this one video alone that took us a day and a half to create has probably got us close to about 100,000 in revenue, I would guess. But that's the potential that we've got within social media in the YouTube space. Now, if you look at the right one here, this is a video that we did last year with Sean Foley. We reached out to Sean and said, would you like to do a collaboration? He's got this training aid. I'm sure you've seen it online. I think that's the only thing that he posts now, but it's a great product. But also we said, let's create some content with Sean, and let's have him give me a lesson, something that somebody else would be interested in, and something that obviously we were interested in ourselves. So we flew over to Orlando, spent 4 hours with Sean, filmed the video, and in the last 12 months, you can see what that's brought in from a revenue standpoint. $27,000, 1.4 million views. But that's the power, and this is something that maybe behind the scenes not many people get to see, but we thought we'd give you a bit of a peek under the hood today to go, well, this is the opportunity that you've got if you feel like you want to get into YouTube and you've got a message to put out there. So it just shows the power that's out there, really.
How valuable to be able to make money while you sleep. As many coaches in the room, we know that if you're not on your feet, you don't have a paycheck coming in. So incredible to see different ways to bring in revenue as well as different revenue sources. What does your business look like now, and what would a typical work week look like for Andy and Piers?
So, obviously, top line things are up there. Obviously, we've already mentioned, Alison mentioned 2 million plus followers. I will say that's something that we don't really look at now. We used to be obsessed by that, but we've found out that isn't the healthiest thing. So we're at 2 million plus followers at the moment. We've got our Me and My Golf membership, which is our core product, which is the product that we spend the most time on, which is our membership subscription. So starting at $200 for the year. Then we've got 10 employees. Excuse me. We've got 6 revenue streams, 9 brand partners, and that all equates to a multi-7-figure business. And this is the team. This is Team Me and My Golf. Obviously, myself and Andy as co-founders. There's another co-founder called Neil Dawson who still lives in the UK. Everyone else here on this slide is based in the UK apart from Paul, who's in Italy. So we've got a brand manager, we've got a marketing manager, social media manager, 2 editors, someone in charge of paid media, and also we've got a customer service guy, Paul, who's actually based in Milan. And here's our revenue stream. So as we said, the core product is the membership subscription. So that is obviously what we're always looking to improve, developing coaching plans, different systems. Kind of, if we think about our social media as like a glimpse into what we do, you get an idea how we coach and you get tips, whereas these are structured plans that are really going to help the golfer. We've obviously got brand partnerships as well. So we obviously make money through that. Affiliate revenue, so whether that's Full Swing, Arcos, if we're selling their product to our members and followers, we get a kickback on that. Ad revenue, obviously, is where you see the advertisements on YouTube and Facebook. We're getting a percentage of that. Training aids, that's something we started doing in the last 3 years, I think it is now. We've actually got 19 training aids which are being distributed all over the world. And then we still got our coaching. We still actually coach. We actually love coaching. If we had to do this business and you said you're not allowed to coach anymore, we'd find it really difficult. So we still do in person. Aaron Rye, we spend quite a lot of time with him, obviously. Golf schools, corporate events. So there's still plenty going on from a coaching point of view. And this is kind of our work week. So I said earlier about being at Three Hammers and being at the driving range, as successful as it was, myself and Andy like the variety. So that's what we have now. We're able to coach, obviously, but we're creating content, we're planning content, we're analyzing content, business strategy, the coaching I've just said as well, obviously, and then we've got team meetings. Not always the best when our team are based in the UK, so 5:30 a.m. calls 3 times a week. Not the best, but it's okay. And then obviously we've got our brand responsibilities.
I think one of the things I found interesting in getting to know both of you all was like the boundaries that you set around time off. Some of the calls and connections that we made, one of you wouldn't be able to attend because you actually had a day off. So you have some freedom to take time for yourself and enjoy stuff outside of work.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
We're really bad at that, but we try hard.
You have amazing brand partnerships, TaylorMade being one of them, which we're so grateful for them to sponsor our event today. How do you align with them, and what does it entail?
So yeah, I mean, it's the brand partnerships has been a crazy sort of whirlwind story, really. I mean, you can see on screen we've got 9 brand partners now. TaylorMade and Adidas are sort of the longer standing ones. We've been, I think, 10 years that we've been going with those. And we do some great experiences. For instance, TaylorMade and Adidas, we've been a part of their photo shoot every year, pretty much, where we go to the shoot and film with some of their top-level athletes and just get to pick their brains on the golf swing, create content, and then share that with the world, really, which has just been amazing for our brand. But we also get to tell the message and the story that the brand are looking to push on the new products and stuff, really, in a very organic, authentic way, which is really important.
And they've been great for our content, obviously, but also building those relationships. I remember the first TaylorMade big one that we did was at West Palm Beach with Dustin Johnson. And there were probably around about 80 people watching this video. And I swear it was all the people who worked at TaylorMade who were just checking to make sure that us clowns weren't going to mess it up. And DJ standing there looking at us going, yeah, who are you two? We're wearing the same clothes and all that sort of stuff. And I remember going, right, this is it. And it was one of those moments when you're going, this is just... If you'd have said to us 5 years ago that we'd be doing this, wouldn't have thought it.
Yeah, and the sort of the responsibilities vary, really. So Audi, obviously everybody knows Audi. Audemars Piguet is a sort of watch brand that we're partners with. We get to just do some cool experiences. For instance, Audi has the largest amateur golf event in the world. 80,000 people compete to get to this world final. We've been to Barcelona, we've been to Mexico. This year's in Oman. And we get to go to these events, coach the clients, help host the events. And it feels like it's a holiday because we're doing what we love and we're in an amazing place doing it. Same with Audemars Piguet. We get to coach some of their high-end clients and go to these great destinations. And then Arcos and Full Swing, more of an affiliate partner where we showcase their products, ambassadors for those. And then we've got Club Champion and Hack Motion, which are more sort of YouTube collaborations, really. And then Golf 5 is a fairly new one that's VR that we're exploring. So it's interesting so we're sort of looking into the future in that one as well. But how do we align with these partners? I think is the key thing now. When we started the channel, as Piers mentioned, we didn't really have a lot. Like I was living at my parents', 0 money. Obviously, we're like, how do we make this earn some money? You know, yes, we want to put some content out, but we also need to actually live our lives. So we said, well, let's just build attention. If we can build attention online, if we can grow our YouTube subscriber base, then surely the brands are going to be interested. So we just said, right, that's the focus. Let's just put our efforts into building this subscriber base and build attention. So we did that, put loads of content out. But the second thing we did, we were like, okay, well, let's get intentional about the sort of brands that we'd want to work with. Who would we want to partner with? And who are already in the golf industry? So we said, right, we want a clothing manufacturer. we'd love an equipment brand, we'd like a car brand, and we want a watch brand. So we really just said, these are the ones we want. You know, we decided who we're going to go after. And that was really a start for us. We were like, okay, well, we think we can do that somehow. Let's just keep making content. And that was when we started to think, okay, maybe we should start reaching out to some of the clothing manufacturers, because we were doing videos and our shoes were looking a bit tatty and the golf clubs we had were a little bit worn out. And we're like, actually, we could probably do with some clothes and some equipment here. And that's when we started putting the feelers out to just the reps and go, well, let's just go and seek them out and speak to them. And I think you reached out to maybe a FootJoy rep at that time.
Yeah. It was so the FootJoy rep who I was really good friends with, and I was trying to explain to him that we'd quit 3 Hammers, we'd travelled the world, and now we wanted some shoes because we're doing Me and My Golf TV on YouTube. He's looking at me going, I don't think I can swing this somehow. So anyway, we couldn't do anything, and we literally had no money. So probably said that a few times now, Andy. But so I thought, I'm going to phone the Adidas rep. I knew the Adidas rep from the pro shop back at Oxley Park where I did my training. And he's like, cool, yeah, okay, I like the idea. And he said, I think we should get someone from TaylorMade to come and meet someone from marketing. So me and Andy drove to the Belfry, which was just around the corner from us. And we met Ian Fergie from Adidas and Chris Hederman from TaylorMade then. And they loved it. And I think this is all part of why TaylorMade is such a great company, because they were able to see this and think, actually, there's something in this. And a big thing for us when we work with brands is that the people we work with as well are really important. If the person we're dealing with we don't really like, then it makes it really difficult. So these guys were amazing, and we thought, yes, we're in. TaylorMade and Adidas are going to sponsor us, and they're going to give us loads of money and all the clubs that we want. And we came out with a pair of shoes, 2 shirts, 1 pair of trousers, a staff bag, a driver, a 6-iron, and a putter. And if you actually watch our videos at the beginning, you'll see a lot of videos that have just got those 3 clubs in there. But if we think about it, at the time we were like, why are they not giving us more? We just thought we were bigger than we obviously were. But it started that relationship, and we obviously kept close contact with those guys, and we just kept being consistent, taking our time, being patient. And then eventually Chris Hederman said, look, do you know what, guys? I think we need to sign a deal. And that was 10 years ago. And yeah, it's just been unbelievable since then. I've got to tell them the Audemars Piguet story as well, because me and Andy love watches. We've always loved watches. And I remember I didn't start playing golf until I was like 16. So I think it was 1993. It was a Golf Monthly magazine, I think it was. And I opened up the page, and there's Nick Faldo. And there's this hexagonal watch with a French name after it. And I'm going, what is that name? What? Audemars Piguet. And I'm looking at this thing going, that is phenomenal. I want one of those. So anyway, fast forward, we get our brand manager come on board, Matt. And he says, what do you want? Well, who are the companies that you want? We'd already got TaylorMade, we'd already got Adidas, we'd already got Audi. And we were thinking about the watch thing, and we says, we want Audemars Piguet, Matthew. And he's like going, oh, thanks. Not too hard then. So we look at, obviously, so it's this logo here. So at the time, Rory, Henrik Stenson, Lee Westwood, all these great players were ambassadors for Audemars. And we changed the WhatsApp avatar to a watch. We text him every day, what it felt like every day, like, where's our watch, where's our watch? Just joking, obviously. But we were being intentional and we were being persistent. And one day he actually texted and says, guess what, guys? I've got a meeting. So Wasserman headquarters in London, rooftop party. We're on the dance floor with Olivier from Audemars Piguet for 3 hours, just trying to convince him that we can offer value to that brand. And then fast forward 6 weeks, and we were signing a deal. So I think it was, for us, that was a real favorite one, because as much as the people are great and what we do at the events are great, it was something that was personal to us as well.
And it was an interesting time, actually, because when I think back to that, and we had this, it was such a strange experience for us, because we felt like we had a crystal ball. We were like, what is it that we want? And then we'd ask for what we want, and then we'd get it. We were like, how is this happening? But I think the power in that is just going, well, what is it that actually we want? Be brave and bold enough to say, actually, we want to partner with TaylorMade. We want to partner with Adidas or Audemars Piguet. Audemars Piguet is a $2 billion revenue company, and who are we to ask for that? But we were bold enough to say, let's go and do it, and then let's go and see how we can add value to that company. And then, lo and behold, we were signing a contract with Audemars Piguet, and then, you know, the experiences and what we've done has just been amazing with them, really. But a couple of key things that are important to us when we are thinking about brands and partnering up. First of all, you need to align with the brand. TaylorMade are about improving performance, and if we didn't focus on that and that wasn't aligned with us, there's no point in doing that. You need to align with the brand. You also need to believe in the product. But it's so tempting if a brand comes to you with an opportunity and they want to pay you some money to go, well, yeah, I need some money right now. But if you don't believe in the product, then it's a no-go, because the most important thing for all of us is that if we're building a social media following, we need to have the trust from our audience. That is the most important thing. And if we lose that trust, then the brands aren't going to leverage that trust from you as well. So believe in the product. And I think the final thing on this really is that, and this is, I think, that was one of the strong things that we did and we continue to do, is that if we're ever in discussions with a brand partner, the most important thing that we ask is, how can we help you? And we hear stories from other brands where a lot of people are going towards them saying, well, what can I get? What can you give me? So we will say, well, look, how can we help you? And what does success look like for you? Because what we want to do is we want to make sure that we can over-deliver on that success. So when the contract comes to an end, the brands are going, wow, this is great. They add so much value to our brand, and we'd love to continue that on. Whenever we're working with a brand, we're always thinking long term. If we can be with a brand for long term, there's great trust in the audience, and then, as I said, that is the most important thing, really. So there are a couple of key things that just make a difference. And here's some of the experience we've had. Top left screen, obviously Rory McIlroy. This was in 2016. TaylorMade gave us the call and said, can you fly out to fly out to West Palm Beach to the Bears Club to film a driver video with Rory McIlroy. And we were like, yes, get us on that flight.
Let's think about that.
And I remember that day because we're on the Bears Club. I'm not sure what hole it was. And we're getting to interview Rory McIlroy for the first time and meet him and just get to pick his brains on his golf swing and watch him hit a driver close up. And we were like, holy crap, how has two guys from Wolverhampton a few years ago had zero money, no real job, just a vision of where we wanted to be, have we ended up here? Have we ended up really chatting to Rory McIlroy and creating a video with him? Just an amazing experience. Obviously, DJ, I think we've done several videos with DJ now. I still don't think he knows who we are, to be fair. But no, he's been great as well. And then the other two experiences are with Audemars Piguet. Top right is in Dubai at the event they have every year where all the ambassadors are there. Me and Piers would host the clinic with all the guests and just have an incredible experience. And then this one here. I'm trying to forget this one, to be fair. This was an Audi event. We went to Austria and Kitzbühel, and they wanted to do some random challenge it is on YouTube if you want to go and check it out. And they got us to do some weird challenge where we had to pick clothes out and play a hole. And the thing that I'm holding was my putter. I think I had about 10 putts in it. I thought I'd beat Piers on the green, but he managed to get it done. And yes, it was very cold that day. I'll just say that.
It was really warm.
And the final thing on this with the brands is that if we're ever unsure about if we should be working with a brand, we came up with these 7 questions that just help us make the decision. Because look, yes, we've had more brands than this, but we've also made a lot of mistakes, and we've been and we thought, well, how do we make sure that we don't make these mistakes or we limit the mistakes that we make? So we run these questions through ourselves and go, okay, if an opportunity comes our way, let's go through these. So first of all, is this opportunity in line with our values? That's a key one. Do we align? Do we align with the brand? Will this opportunity take advantage of our unique ability? We think our unique ability is helping golfers and coaching and creating content. If we're not doing that, it doesn't light us up. It doesn't get our juices flowing, so we don't want to spend our time doing it. Number 3, is this opportunity in line with our purpose? Our purpose, we're clear on our purpose. It's something that we've worked on in the business, is to change lives through golf. If we don't feel like we're doing that, then we don't really want to do it. Does this opportunity make sense financially? That's got to be a key thing that makes sense as well. Does it help us long term? We're always going into that. We're always thinking 5 years, 10 years down the line. We're in this thing for life. I think we've got to think like that. We've got to think about our timeline stretched out. And then if we say yes to this opportunity, what will we have to say no to? The more you say yes to, the more things you're going to have to say no to. And then the final one there is, does this help us get to our mission? Does this help us reach our goal? And if it doesn't help us reach our goal, but these are really important for us. If we've ever had an opportunity come our way and we're unsure, we'll run it through these, and we're actually pretty clear then whether we need to take that opportunity or not. But that's really a little bit of a history of how we've aligned with the brands and some of the things that we've been able to do.
It's really neat to hear you come up with the brands that you want to align with and almost sort of put it out in the universe to make these things happen. So I feel very motivated that if I put Lamborghini out in the universe, I might have that brand alignment soon. I'm curious in the room, how many of you all are creating content and on social media right now? Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. So many of us are sort of in that social media game, trying to gain new students or share our vision. What sort of ideas and suggestions would you have for content creation?
Great question. And what I will say, we're here for 2 days. So as much as we'll give you some snapshots now, just come and see us over the next 2 days and we'll help out obviously as much as we can. So we thought about this and thought, well, what would be these 5 things that we look at? So stay in your lane, obsess over the hook, what you measure improves, be grateful for each view, and ask consumers what they want. So if we start on this first one, staying in your lane, I think that, look, when we started this, there weren't many people around. We could make loads of mistakes, and we could do all sorts of stupid things, and we could still get exposure. But now there's loads of people, so you need to understand from our point of view, my advice is always, make sure you stay in your lane, tell your authentic story, because it's so easy to look at what someone else is doing who gets hundreds of thousands of views and go, I should do that. That's how I'm going to be successful. No, the way that you're going to be successful is by telling your story, by being authentic, and really niching down to what you do. So there's some examples of this at the moment. So there's a guy called Dan Grieve. I'm sure a lot of you would have seen him. So he's a guy based in England at Woburn, and he's just purely on short game. So he gets some amazing exposure now, but he is all in on short game. Now he can teach anyone how to hit the fairway and stop a slice, but he's gone all into his niche, which is short game. And as a result of that, he's having some great exposure and doing really well now.
This point is really important. This is something that, and I think that for us, we want to share some tactics that we're doing right now as well. You know, we're constantly learning, and we mentioned that we feel like we're at the start. I think it's because everything's changing so much. And these are some of the things that we're really focused on right now. So obsess over the hook. So the hook is really the start of the video. Now, if you think about short form content, TikTok, social media, in terms of YouTube Shorts or Instagram, a lot of people are scrolling. So the hook is really the initial part of the video, the first 3 seconds of the video on the short form content. And you have to be obsessed about what you're actually doing on the short form content, because we've got to disrupt people's patterns and grab their attention. The most important thing we think at the moment is you could have the best content, but if it takes you 15, 20 seconds to get into this great content, people are going to scroll past and it actually gets lost. So you could have a video that you think, oh, I think that was really good. I had a great drill and some good things in there that I think was helpful, but if you didn't get many views or comments or engagement, well, maybe people aren't getting past the first 3 seconds. So obsess over the hook. And some of the things to bear in mind, and we'll give you some examples on the next screen here, is that the visuals, what's the first thing that people are going to see? Is it going to be a face? Is it going to be the grip? Is it going to be your feet? Think about what you can have on screen that's going to actually grab people's attention, that's a little bit different, a little bit curious, that's unique. On-screen title, we're messing around and playing with this a little bit more now because it saves time. It lets people know why they should continue to watch. Without a title, and you'll see in a minute, without a title, sometimes it's like, well, should I continue to watch this? What's in it for me? These are the things that we can do within the first part of the video. First line of the copy, again, think about something that people would want, puring your irons, fixing their slice. Some of the language that people use, how can you grab their attention with that first line of the copy as well? And then when it comes to the longer form videos, if you're in YouTube, don't underestimate the title, the importance of the title and thumbnail. How can you test lots of different ones that are going to make people curious? How can you make the thumbnail stand out a little bit more, different colors? Obsess over really grabbing people's attention. Because you'd have the best content, but if it's not grabbing their attention, it's a little difficult. So this next one here is just some examples that we've done recently we wanted to share. These are in the last couple of months. So you see the first one on the left here, really clear title on screen, How I Play a Draw. So you know if you're scrolling what this is going to do for you, what information you've got. The visuals, obviously, you've got a beautiful pair of legs on screen there. There's a Piers is there.
Not good.
But this grabs your attention, but also this was a bit, I think this was a voiceover, this one. It was clear, straight into the title, slightly different visuals, and then it was fast-paced, getting people into the content straight away in a really short way. The next one, notice the difference on the title on the next one. Doesn't stand out as much as the one on the left. That's something that I would want to change and experiment and go, actually, let's do that again and actually make the title a little bit better. But it's how to compress your irons. The visuals are me in action with the golf bag there. Something that we've learned from the testing that we're doing recently on this is that a lot of the videos that perform really well start when we're in action. So what we used to do, we would start a video and we'd go, right, okay, in today's video, we're going to share with you 3 things that are going to help you fix your slice or compress your irons, whatever it is. But straight away there, we've noticed that people are going, get me to the content. People are impatient, so starting with action is just something that we've realized over the last couple of months, that how can we start mid-swing in the problem or whatever it might be.
And just on this one here, when Andy says about testing, literally the only test will be change how the title looks on screen. Just make it a little bit bolder, maybe make it look a bit more like the How I Play a Draw. But you can have the exact same piece of content. So if you've got content that you want to, if you think it's good, we'll talk about this a little bit more, that don't be afraid to just mess around with the visuals and the title and just put it up again. Because I'm of the opinion, and you guys and girls will know this, that when golfers are coming to you, they've probably already been educated on what they do wrong. They just need to be reinformed. So it's okay to see the same piece of content again if it's just reinforming them.
Definitely. The third one there, you can see again, clear title, backswing killer, a little bit of curiosity in that one. You know, cross on screen, Piers is in action again. And then the one on the next one here is, we didn't have a title on this one, but this performed really well from an engagement standpoint, nearly 5,000 shares. We did this one together, but we started from a relatable fault, you know, went straight into the over the top and then went into a drill and how we fixed it and some of the things that it causes. But this was great. All these have been tested and learning, and we can constantly really looking at how we can change things. And then the final one on the right was just something that, it's not one of ours, it's one of Golf God's. I was scrolling on social the other day, and I caught myself out watching this video, and I'm like, okay, why am I watching this video? Now, if you look at the title on screen, it says, when the captain's drive goes wrong. I guarantee all of you now want to see that video to see what happens, because the title on there grabs your attention. If that wasn't on screen, it's just another golfer. So the power of that title, that's what got me to watch the video. But if we can leverage some of these things in the first 3 seconds in the hook, then it gets you into the content, and then you can start sharing the message or the tip or whatever it is that you're going to deliver, really. But just some good examples of what's worked for us and what we'll continue to test, really, as well.
You do realise everyone's wanting to watch the video now.
Yeah, I know. We should have put it up.
What actually happened?
We should have put it up. I think it hit the camera person in the face, I think.
Nice. So what you measure improves as you can get the impression. This is big for us now. So we'll have probably at least 2 meetings a week now, which is measuring content. So for example, on this YouTube graph here, you can see the graph. That's the audience retention in this video. So you can see when it drops off. And often YouTube videos look like this. But this, where it really drops off, we'll analyze that moment and make sure we're not waffling. As you can probably tell already, me and him like to talk a lot and we waffle a lot. So you've got to be really clear in the beginning of these videos what you're saying. And if we start seeing big drop-offs, maybe even like this one here, it's like, okay, that's a pretty big drop-off at that stage of the video. So what did we actually do then? Was it something we were talking too much? Was the slow-mo wrong? Was the graphic wrong? What actually happened there?
Quick question on this, actually. Just put your hands up if you've got a YouTube channel again, just quickly. How many people are looking at this graph on every video that they do? Okay, so there's a couple in there. I spoke to, I think it was Zach this morning, Zach said he was showing me his YouTube channel, 90,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, and Zach wasn't looking at this either. And I think if you want to learn about how your content is performing and what you should do, like obsess over this, because you'll learn what people are, you know, the consumers, and this graph is telling you what people want to watch. Don't guess. I think if you can measure and really pay attention to every video, this will rapidly change how you are in 12 months' time. If you didn't look at any of this, you're really missing out a big opportunity. It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And just on this, for me, this is the most important thing. And we can talk about how many people save it, share it, comment, and like. You can trick the algorithm to a certain degree. This is not tricking. This is actually how many people are finding your content valuable, how many people want to watch you. And if you do a good job of getting people to watch a lot of the video that you put up, then you're helping improve people, then you're creating that value. Plus, YouTube are going to love that because you're just keeping people on their platform, so they're going to celebrate that as well. But yeah, analytics is huge.
Okay, be grateful for each view. I think this is really important because you can get lost in the vanity metrics of views, and we certainly have done this, and we've made some mistakes. And the way I look at this is that when you're looking at online videos, you see the views. You can see somebody else getting 1 million views, 200,000, whatever it is. But it's so easy to forget that actually people are behind the views. Now, I think there's about 260, 270 people in this room today. That means me and Piers have got 270 views, but that's 270 lives that you can actually have some level of impact on. But for some reason, when we're looking at views on a phone, we don't see the people. And it's easy to forget that, really. And I think something that it's interesting because we had a video that went live last week, last Thursday, and on Friday we went for a coffee to discuss things, and I caught myself out. I was like, the video didn't do very well last night. It only had 10,000 views. And then I thought to myself, 10,000 views? You stick a room of 10,000 people in there. That's a lot of people. But because of our previous videos that had done pretty good, hundreds of thousands of views, it sort of had me in a negative place instead of a grateful place for the people who've watched it. And what happens when you're in a negative place, your actions and energy is going to be very, very different. Whereas if you're grateful for the views that you've got, guess what? You're going to behave differently. You're going to go in there and go, I'm going to speak to these people and see if I can help them. I'm going to see if I can connect with the audience and the people who are taking the time to go and engage with the content. So whether you get 100 views, whether you get 200 views, 5,000 views, if you're grateful for each view and look for the opportunities, you just never know who's watching. They are a potential customer who might sign up for a golf school. You just never know. And I think if you can have this approach, which we're still working on, and fall into the trap of the vanity metrics, it's a big thing.
Yeah, and last one here is just asking questions of the people who are watching you. I mean, if we think about it, what are we trying to do? You're trying to create a community, a group of people who are very much invested into you. Now, the only way that you're going to do that is not by just putting content up and thinking that's it, job is done. That's the start of the conversation, because then the conversation looks like, what do you need help with in your game? Getting people to comment and then replying back to them, listening to the language that they use, so you can really use that to create your content, but also to create that community. So I think make sure whenever you are putting content up there that it's not just one and done, it's the start of the conversation. So that is huge, obviously, for creating raving fans. That's what we're looking to do when we put content out there.
Some of the most successful companies and business owners I know have become successful because they've had some great failures and they've learned a lot from their failures. So can you share a little bit about some of the lessons that you've learned and maybe some of the failures that you've had to become this great online brand?
Yep, no problem. I think this next post here is, who knows Gary Vaynerchuk online? Does anybody know Gary Vaynerchuk? Put your hands up. Okay, Gary Vaynerchuk's worth following. He's a guy who knows where the puck is going from social media. And this is his book, actually. I took a screenshot of this, picture of this out of his book recently. And this is from Sarah Blakely, who's a female entrepreneur. And she said, the goal is not to be successful. The goal is to be valuable. Once you're valuable, instead of chasing success, it will attract itself to you. And we've built our brand and our business on value, on just delivering value. One of our core values is deliver massive value and just be helpful. And we spent the last 10 years just trying to be as helpful as possible. And any conversation that we have about creating a piece of content is just about how can this impact somebody else. But the other question we ask as well, which everybody in the room will know, is how can we also not mess people up? Because it's so easy to mess people up when it comes to content online. So we asked those two questions. How can we make sure that we deliver value and be helpful? But how do we also make sure that it doesn't affect anyone in a negative way and mess anybody else up? So this is crucial for us.
I think that's a valid point for all the people who don't put their hand up when we say who creates content in the room. You may be of the opinion, and rightly so, that content can be messing people up. How many times have you given a golf lesson to someone and someone's come to you and said, I've watched this video yesterday, and then the day before I watched this other video, and then I watched this other video, and you're going, wow, thanks content creators and coaches. I'm now having to unravel this person and make them a better golfer. But ultimately, it's all about the clarity of the message. And if you really think, well, bearing in mind that you have, for the view that you create from that piece of content, that one person watching it, are they going to get better? Is it going to spark curiosity and make sure it doesn't mess them up? Because that's crucial.
And you'll see that we love quotes, and I think the reason we love quotes is just there's so much wisdom and they're easy to remember. So love this one from Zig Ziglar. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help other people get what they want. And this is something that we are just constantly conscious about, of just making a difference in the world and really helping people.
Yes, we're going to quote you to death. So we've got Bill Gates here. Most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So if we think about me and my golf as a point on this, if you said to us after 1 year, was that a successful year, and what would you assess the state of the business now, and should you continue? We'd say no. We'd not made any money. We'd just created a load of content, a load of ideas, a load of strategies, a load of conversations with brands, but the business wasn't anything. It didn't really have anything to it. But then by being patient, by being persistent, over the next 5, 10 years, we've achieved obviously quite a lot. So I think it's so easy in this room now to think, well, yeah, I'm not going to quit coaching and 3 years of no money. I've got a wife and family and mortgage or whatever it is at home. But there are ways of doing it. There are ways of you going, do you know what, I am coaching, but I'm just going to section off half a day a week where I can create content and put it up there and not expect anything to happen for the next 3 to 5 years. It's kind of like, you're compounding attention, and eventually, if you don't get paid now, you'll get paid more later. And I think that's the best way of looking at it. But you're in it to be patient and go in for the long haul when you're doing anything like this, and you'd be amazed what you can actually achieve at the end of it. Because if we look back now from the previous 10 years and say this is what we've got, we'd have gone, no, we wouldn't have thought that 10 years ago.
This is my favorite quote, I think. And I think it's my favorite quote because we've used it a lot and we've been conscious of actually what we do. And you'll see on screen here with David Ledbetter. And the image above is a thumbnail from YouTube. Now, I think 9 years ago we did the video. It's had nearly 500,000 views online. And 9 years ago, David brought this the A swing out. He brought this concept out online, and we saw it online. I think Golf Digest did a YouTube video on this. And we looked at it and says, okay, this is a little different. He's getting the shaft really vertical on the way back, and he's talking about a few other things with the toe hanging down a little bit more. And we said, why don't we do a video on this? Because there's certain things that we wanted to make sure that we could put our perspective on it and just share with golfers who are interested in this subject. And we said, well, I'll tell you what, let's make this video, but let's make it better than his. Let's make it better than David's video. Let's put graphics on there. You can see the V-plane that he used to talk about. Let's put some graphics on there and just really let's make it so good that somehow David will see this. And that was our focus. There's no way we could predict what would happen, but we said, let's make it so good that he's going to see this. And then we uploaded the video, and I think 2 or 3 months later, we're in the office in Cannock in Wolverhampton, and for some reason I checked my junk email, and I had an email from a guy called Ben Riches, who's David's CEO, and he said, Andy and Piers, just want to let you know, David loved watching your video on the A-swing. He'd love to invite you up to Scotland to meet him and film with him. And we were like, holy crap, David Ledbetter, like our hero as young lads growing up, the golf coach who's really pioneered the way, wants to meet us and create a video with us. So we went up to Scotland at the Open. We did a video where he coached me through the A-swing. And since then, we've done multiple things with David. done lots of videos with him, been to his facility in Orlando a few times, and built up a relationship with this guy who, when I was 13, 14, was like, he was coaching Fowler, and he was this great coach, famous golf coach. And to think that would happen blows my mind. You know, when Aaron won on tour recently, he sent me a message and said, congratulations on the work with Aaron. I'm going, David Ledbetter's messaging me. This is so weird. But this quote is so powerful that if you just focus on just putting great stuff out, and like we did with the brands, we're like, let's just focus on putting good stuff out there, and the brands, you know, will notice. Someone's going to notice.
Another quote. So, working harder on yourself than you do on your job. I think we already said when we were at Three Hammers, we were always very mindful of bettering ourselves and learning from all of these fantastic coaches. And I'll do it. I know that Dave's in the room, so Dave, apologies if you can start blushing. But 2006, we went to Bescott Stadium, which is Warsaw's soccer stadium, football stadium. It was snowing, and we saw Martin Hall for the first time. We saw Greg and Dave, and I think Dr. Jim Sutty, and I think some of the guys were coaching outside in the snow. It was horrific. But moments like that really helped shape our career, and we did have a slide in here talking about influences, and Dave is right high up on that list, and he's been huge for us. But having people that you can learn from and fast forward your ability to do a great job is crucial. So we've done it with golf coaches, we've done it with Tony Robbins, Robin Sharma, Alex Hormozy, so people who look after us, you're looking after yourself as a person, looking after your business. We're even part of a mastermind, so we're always investing time and energy into, and resources, into just getting better. Podcasts, so there's me, Neil, and Andy, we've got our own WhatsApp group. The amount of podcasts that fly around there. I've just read this book, I've just listened to this podcast, you've got to listen to this one. It's a daily thing for us. So I haven't listened, I've been here 2.5 years now. I haven't listened to the radio once in my car. It is a podcast all the time. And the knowledge that you get from this is just huge. So again, I know a lot of you will be onto that already, but for those of you who aren't, it's a big part of why we're where we are today.
Well, you've certainly built a ton of credibility in your online coaching and your brand, and I also think it's fantastic to have a player such as Aaron Rai elevate the credibility as well with the 2024 Wyndham Championship win. How did that relationship start, and what's that been like for you?
It's really interesting because we get a lot of people who say to us, "Oh, you sponsor Aaron Rai?" And it's like, well, and we almost get, to start with, we're like, no, we coach him. But it was like, so as far as Aaron's concerned, we knew him from when he was 4. We started coaching him when he was 11. And we kind of just said to him and his dad's a big part of his life, and they'd be coming down the Three Hammers golf complex all the time, and it'd be this little lad who was swinging a full-size driver, and the backswing took around about 4.5 seconds to get to the top, and then it held there for about another 2 seconds, and then suddenly dropped on the ball, and the ball hit the fairway. Nothing's really changed. But we kind of spoke to them both and said, look, we really feel we could help. They agreed, and when Wednesdays at 2 o'clock for 6 years in a row pretty much, he would turn up and we'd give him a golf lesson. And for us, we've obviously become friends of Aaron as well, and that's huge. So when that all culminates in him winning at the Wyndham this year, I was saying to a few of the guys this morning that it was actually my birthday weekend. I was up in Seattle, and I'm watching the phone and going, hang on a bit. Now he's in with a chance, and I said to everyone I was with, I said, sorry, I've got to watch it. And we all watched it together. We were all cheering, obviously. But to see that smile on his face, I mean, a lot of people don't get to see the real Aaron because obviously you're on TV, you see a shot and you see him really intently focusing, and everyone goes, this guy's a bit miserable. And he wears 2 gloves and he's got iron covers and orange tea pegs. What's going on here? He's a clown. But he is the nicest guy you'll ever meet. But some of the experiences we've had, we had one experience actually. We were working at Audemars Piguet event in Dubai, and he was in Dubai as well. He had a chance to win the race to Dubai. And we met him for a drink on the night. We just finished with the guests. And we're there at one of the best hotels in the world, talking about whatever we're talking about. And suddenly we all sort of stopped. It was kind of freaky. We all looked at each other and said, well, wow, it's become a long way since Wolverhampton. And to have those moments with him and to be at major championships with him and to be at tournaments with him and having people congratulating us on his work, and we're just privileged to be part of it. it's just been an amazing journey, and I'm sure you've got a few things to add on that, but it is. I don't know if it's the best part of the job that we do, because as I said, I think we've got the best job in the world, but it's definitely part of it. It's definitely right up there.
I think there's a lot of parallels with Aaron and what we've done. And as we mentioned, when we started this, it was like, we were just certain that we were going to do something. We were like, and had no reason to be certain. We just had faith that if we were to just put out some good stuff in the world, then something else would come back to us, really. So we had this certainty, but I think it was just more faith that if we just continue to push on and continue to do great work, what we felt was great, then, that would reward us in some way. And it's been the same with Aaron, as Piers mentioned, known him since 4, coaching him since 11. We would talk with Aaron as if he'd already achieved what we think he's going to achieve. When you're on the PGA Tour, when you're playing in the majors, it was always a when, not an if. And that belief and that certainty and that faith, I think, has really helped us. It's certainly helped him as well, but it's helped us in what we do with our business and our lives. But also, it's crazy how when you actually hold on to that faith, that things are going to be fine. You can work things out, and if you come to some obstacles, they're just, part of the way. They're not in the way, they're just part of the way. And we always joke with Aaron. A couple of years ago, we said that we've got so much belief in him, of what he can achieve, that he's like, who's seen The Matrix? I'm sure there's a lot of people who've seen The Matrix in here. One of my favorite films. And we say, look, he's like Neo. He's the one in our mind, and we're like Morpheus. And, we have moments where he's in a tournament, and we'll say, like, he's beginning to believe. Like, he's up at the top of the leaderboard, he's beginning to believe. And then when he won the Wyndham Championship on, obviously this year, we sent him this the next day, and just said, one of our editors back home said, just do me a favor, put Aaron's face on Neo, would you? And we sent him that, and obviously that was like, just a great moment. But it was a great moment because the message of just believing in something great, even though not necessarily there's evidence there to suggest that, but the power of that collectively as a team and in ourselves, I think we've both got that. And it's just a choice in our mind that, okay, let's just choose to have faith that you can achieve great things if you can just put some great things out. And as we've already said, like, be so good, they can't ignore you is just such a strong message, really.
Well, you've definitely taken us through a journey of the beginning of your friendship, the creation of a company that we can't ignore, that it's all over and is helping so many golfers across the universe. So what's next for Me and My Golf in the 10 years and beyond?
I think that the quote that Piers said from Bill Gates, most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10. I think it's nice to think about who knows what could happen in the next 10 years and not have everything worked out. Like that we're here today without really thinking this could be possible for us, and the things that we've achieved, like to think that could happen again in another 10 years. And being open to that is great. But on screen here, you'll see our purpose. Our purpose is to change lives through golf. That's what drives us. That's what gets me and Piers sort of lit up and excited. Our mission really is to make golf simple. As we know, golf can be very complicated. And the more and more content gets put out into the world, the more complicated it could be. Our mission is to make it as simple as possible. And then we can see our values that we've spent time at. This is a picture of our wall back in Cannock at home in the office, where anybody who walks into our office, part of our team, this is the first thing that we see, that they see. We really care, keep it simple, obsessive attention to detail, always improving, and deliver massive value. And these really are the standards that we hold ourselves to. But I think the answer is just to continue to do more of what we've done, and to just be as helpful as possible, really.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I've certainly learned a lot, as I know hopefully the audience has as well, and we can use some of these strategies to share our vision, share our value online. So thank you so much, and best wishes to you all as you continue to move forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
Actually, let me just try one thing. Let's try this. We should try this, really, shouldn't we? Let's see if we can do a selfie. Come on. Hey, we need everyone to smile, obviously. Can I get it? There we go.
I'll jump in.
There we go. Oh,
I
turn the
just
phone
turned
off.
it off.
Does anyone know how to use an iPhone? There we go. There we go. Perfect. Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.